Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm alongside Adamo Ritaco to discuss about the breaking news that just occurred. Sinisa Mihajlovic has been sacked as AC Milan's coach, something that I wouldn't say we were expecting right away. More so, like something that we were expecting at the end of the season based on various reports.
Wouldn't say we were
But
expecting.
honestly, these news just come in right now, and we are shocked. We honestly are shocked by the sudden decision taken by not only Berlusconi, but also Galliani and the whole management. And once again, this just goes on to prove that the whole management is a big, big circus, a fucking comedy. And honestly speaking, I don't know where we're gonna go from here. I mean, I don't see the point of even sacking Mihajlovic at this time of the season, with about a month left, with the Coppa Italia final still needed to be played. I just don't see it. Why was he sacked after the Juventus match and not after other performances where we even performed worse and we lost to opponents where we should have done better altogether? I mean, how many teams have lost against Juventus this season and you don't see their coach getting fired? Sure, Milan is in a delicate situation. I understand that. But why at this point in time was he needed to be sacked? I just don't get it. Adamo, let's start off with your first reactions as soon as you heard the news. We were just on Twitter, and right away we just saw reports coming in from various Milan Twitter handles, as well as official sources such as Sky Italia and Gianluca Di Marzio reporting it. So it's pretty official. The announcement will be made tomorrow, that's for sure, and that's also because it's around midnight now in Italy, so we're not expecting any last-second announcements of that sort that late in the night. So what was your first reaction as soon as you saw that? Once again, reports coming in and week out concerning Mihajlovic, saying that he was going to be sacked and so forth. People were going to wait till the end of the season. But out of nowhere, this just came in. What were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I would say I was surprised, but to be realistic, this is AC Milan, so I kind of expected it. I always knew from the second he hired Mihajlovic that Berlusconi wasn't a big fan, mainly for the fact that he really didn't take his shit. When Berlusconi would say, oh, play this formation, he wouldn't. When he would say, do this, he wouldn't do that. And he'd kind of take hidden jabs saying that he's not going to be one of his puppets. So I think that was one of the big factors for the sacking, or at least soon to be sacking. But if you ask me, not too shocked, and I do think this is kind of a BS move by Milan. As you said, of all times to sack Mihajlovic, why would you do it after the Juventus game? I mean, we just lost to Atalanta in an embarrassing game where we didn't even play well, and you could have easily just sacked them then, and then they pick Juventus, the toughest team in the league, where we actually played well and could have got an actual win and all 3 points if one wasn't fantastic and luck was on Milan's side. So, it's kind of weird that Milan would sack him at this point. And I really don't see any purpose to the sacking, because you might as well just wait to the end of the season. It's not like Brocchi's going to do so much better than Mihajlovic. Like, he's going to bring up all this youth like we thought Inzaghi would do, which he clearly didn't. And speaking on that point, if you ask me, Mihajlovic is far better with youth than Brocchi, because I don't think he'd bench Diego Lopez for Gianluigi Donnarumma, which has been the revelation of the season for AC Milan. So if you ask me, I think it's probably the most BS thing Milan have ever done. And I think they just made matters worse for themselves.
Yeah, and honestly speaking, I just don't understand why. I mean, look, Mihajlovic, I think after Seedorf, Inzaghi, coaches that came in with no experience whatsoever, I was confident in Mihajlovic. As soon as he came in, I think that he gave, maybe not right away, but at least throughout the season, he started to give that identity to Milan. He started to cope with players. The whole bench, the whole team in general was with him, always backing his decisions. And yes, we had some very rough times all season round. I'm not going to neglect that. But Mihajlovic was actually a coach which I think had the opportunity to go far with this Milan side, and maybe not in the first season, but we were slowly getting there in terms of not only qualifying to Europe, but also in terms of finally finding a game. Sure, don't look at the last 5 games now because we completely messed them up. But I mean, we went on a 9-game unbeaten run during the season. We reached the Coppa Italia final, despite playing some lower opposition. We still reached it. We still had to get the results. So, I still think that we got some pretty good achievements. Sure, we didn't yet achieve what we wanted, but we still achieved some things that we haven't in the past few seasons. And that to me is already a first step, a good first step towards where we want to get. Now, by seeing this sacking, by experiencing the sacking, are we back to square one? Because what Berlusconi and Galliani still don't understand, and what they don't want to get through their head, is that the players is the main problem. Because there are some players in this team which you clearly seen with not one, not two, not three, but almost 4 coaches, and yet they can't improve. Yet you don't see them doing anything crazy. You just don't see them doing anything better altogether. So why is the coach the problem if you can clearly see that these players are not doing any better whatsoever under any name? I just don't get it. What are your thoughts on that, Adamo?
I mean, as you've been mentioning, the players, a big point that a lot of people will mention, as I would say, Mihajlovic has made a ton of progress with this team. Obviously, we're not flying high, but, when you see Milan play, they actually have a style. They actually have a way of putting aggressiveness into the opponents and actually playing against the other sides rather than just walking around. And people's response would be like, yeah, obviously after spending 70, 80 million, that's what's going to happen. But obviously that's, a big factor. There's obviously a balance they have to find. But the same people will also go and say, oh, look at Manchester United, they're so crap because they spent all this money and they couldn't do anything. And they'll say money's nothing in football. Money doesn't do this, money doesn't do that. But then they'll go on Mihajlovic and say, because we spent this money, we should be amazing, because pretty much the only player that we bought with all that money that was good was Romagnoli and most of the time Carlos Bacca. But if you ask me, I think there's definitely a balance between the two. You can't just say the money's nothing and you can't just say the money's everything. I think there's a balance. And if you ask me, the balance slightly goes to Mihajlovic's side because, as you've been mentioning, these players who he's brought in have been, not the greatest. Obviously, Bacca and Romagnoli, as I mentioned, the 2 stars. But you look at Bertolacci, who took up a big sum of that transfer fee. He's done absolutely nothing but sit on the bench all season or get injured or cost Milan points. So that's that money gone to the trash. You look at the rest of the Serie A, you see Napoli, you see Roma, you see somewhat Lazio, not too much, but Fiorentina especially, teams that are improving vastly, in Milan have to keep up with that pace. As you see in the Premier League, you'll have teams like Manchester City spending money, and the reason for Arsenal being so far behind in some seasons, in some scenarios, obviously not this season, but is more so because they haven't spent the money, so they couldn't make the push. And with Milan, they're finally just catching up to other teams like Juventus and spending money. And, I don't think that one season of spending money should solve all your problems. You saw players like Montolivo who send a back pass that ends up scoring a goal that makes you lose 3 points. So realistically, I do think Mihajlovic is at fault for some of the poor performances, but I don't think he should be taking most of the blame because let's be real, the squad that he inherited was absolutely trash. The mentality he inherited was absolutely trash. And we said after Allegri got sacked that the heart was ripped out of this team. And the only person that somewhat salvaged it was Seedorf. He was sacked, and Inzaghi was brought in. People just walked all over him, so it's back to square one. Now obviously Mihajlovic is gone. Brocchi's going to be in, and it's going to be back to square one once again, as you said.
Yeah, definitely. And, I've been reading some comments on Twitter already. Like the Milan Bible, for example, he mentioned why was Inzaghi given the full season and Mihajlovic wasn't given that opportunity. Why? I mean, honestly speaking, guys, I have no words. I have no words for the sacking because This once again proves that Berlusconi and Galliani are fucked in the head. Let's just put it to that. But with that being said, let's start reading what you guys have to say, because obviously you guys have a big say on this channel, and I want to know what your thoughts are on the whole situation. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of disappointing fans. So let's start reading what you guys are saying, starting off with KERMV saying, doesn't make any sense. Berlusconi has lost the plot. I personally think that he lost his head and he should just go and close himself in a freaking asylum or something, because clearly that's where he belongs. Berlusconi and fucking Galliani out. Absolute bullshit move. We are the new Palermo and Berlusconi is the new Zamparini. I could agree with that. Mihajlovic was the best and effective coach we had. Then he gets sacked. Can't get my head around the fact that Mihajlovic doesn't get to end the season like people, like I mentioned. Another wasted season. Berlusconi needs to understand that there isn't going to be an immediate turnaround. The players are the ones to blame, really. This will happen wherever you hire unless you improve the squad. Kind of similar to what I said before. Berlusconi has lost his mind. We finally get a good coach, and they go to do that just because of a few bad games. But it's not Mihalovic's fault. It's because we have bad players. I'm so mad right now. Berlusconi should have been gone long ago. I think that when Berlusconi saw Locatelli warm up and then knock him on, he finally lost it. Personally, once again, this goes back to the thing that I said about the players. Mihajlovic, he tried to put some discipline into these players, in my opinion. What I don't understand is this whole circus and the whole commotion of the event. Now, we went into a retreat this past week, and I wonder if Berlusconi actually told Mihajlovic that if you don't get the result after this retreat, you're gone. Now, I know that Galliani apparently called Mihajlovic today to tell him about the sacking or the whole situation, and I know that the team didn't train. So I wonder if this was already known after the game and they just made this public today, knowing that Mihajlovic was going to be gone. But it just, to me, it's something that I'm thinking again. How could a coach like Mihajlovic, I mean, realistically, our goal this season was to make the Champions League. That's what they say every year, right? That was our goal, to make the Champions League. And I'm laughing because, like Adamo mentioned, you can't just assume to make it to the top 3 just because you got one good transfer window. Realistically speaking, what did we do this winter? 0. I mean, you can't just base it. We wasted the money on Bertolacci. Yes, we got back Romagnoli, sure, but it takes time, guys. And we took a big batch of players that were useless. We brought them out, but there's still a lot of shitload players that we don't need. And until that is solved, I just don't see any coach having success with this team. Like, what's going to happen now? Okay, apparently Brocchi's going to have the chance until June to prove that he's worthy of being a Milan coach. So let me get something straight. You're literally giving the guy less than 2 months, because the season is going to end with the Coppa Italia final. Technically, a month and a week from now, the season will be done. Brocchi's future is going to be based on that. So let me get something right. We're playing some opponents that are not too good. Okay, I understand the fact that we failed against these opponents in the first time we met them this season. But just imagine the fact that we do get the results against these opponents. Mid-table opponents, low-table opponents, and we actually do good. We get the 5th or 6th place in the standings. We qualify for the Europa League next season. But Brocchi ends up losing the Coppa Italia final. What happens there? What happens there? Does he get fired? Or does Berlusconi say, oh, since you reached 5th and 6th place for us by beating opponents which were easily beatable, but Mihajlovic couldn't do it, you deserve the job for next season. Like, what kind of logic is that? What kind of fucking brain is that from Berlusconi? Like, I'm surprised no one went to his fucking villa in Arcore to beat the shit out of him and to knock some sense into him yet. Like, why? Why? Like, what kind of logic is that? The truth is that Berlusconi and Galliani, the sooner they leave, the sooner things will get better, and the sooner these fans, which I believe deserve a lot more than what the fuck we're witnessing in these past 4 or 5 years. We deserve a lot more. And we had enough of this shit. Year after year after year. What are you going to do, change your coach every year? What's going to happen when you're keeping the same shit players over and over again? What's going to happen? Tell me. What are your thoughts on this, Adamo?
I mean, honestly, I don't even know what to say anymore, because the fact that Milan would even consider doing something of these sorts, all the points you mentioned practically spot on, at least from what I believe. I genuinely don't understand the logic. Like, you see Mihajlovic, if you're looking at this Juventus game and you're basing Mihajlovic's career on this whole scenario at AC Milan, probably the last time he'll ever step doors into that managerial office. Let me just spell out a little equation here. Okay, he plays Juventus. He loses. Although, give or take, mainly due to the fact that Gianluigi Buffon is one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time and still is, and the fact that Pogba scored a penalty, and the fact that Milan could have, won that game on another day. And then you say, oh, they're facing Juventus in the Coppa Italia final. Let's sack Mihajlovic because he lost the game that he could have won. He could have won. Not saying he would, but he could have. Let's sack him and hire Brocchi, who will do a better job. If you ask me, you give Brocchi this team, this AC Milan squad against Juventus in the Coppa Italia final with the short amount of time he has to implement his style into the squad, he is not going to do anywhere near what Mihajlovic would have done. And if he does, I think it's just by chance, not by the fact that, because if you look at the facts, all the numbers, all the figures, there's no way that Brocchi is going to do better than Mihajlovic in this Coppa Italia final. And if you ask me, the last 6 games of the season, I don't see what the big deal is in sacking a coach just to hire in a new one because you don't like the way that his ego combats yours.
Yeah, exactly. And like the Milan Bible just said to me on Twitter, he said, great point, because if Mia gets sacked after the Juventus game, shouldn't Brocchi too if he loses that final? Like, honestly speaking, what's the shame in losing against Juventus? That's what I don't understand. Why now? Why now? We're still 6th. Sassuolo is still behind us. We didn't win in 4 games before Juventus against teams that are obviously have a less caliber than Juventus. But still, it's just a fact that I don't understand. I don't understand why. What do you think about this, Adamo?
Honestly, I don't even know. It's just like the fact that Milan will come to this conclusion and think, this is the logical decision to make. I tweeted it out a few minutes ago saying that, how is it possible that a 17-year-old in high school, aka me, has better decision-making than Silvio Berlusconi, one of the most successful businessmen in Italy that has done so much throughout the years? How does he come to this conclusion? How does he make these decisions? If you ask me, it has to be mainly based on personal conflict that he has with Mihajlovic, the fact that he's not his yes man. And I think if you ask me, when the question was asked, how come people got the full season? I think it's mainly due to the fact that people is just a yes man and does whatever he says and does everything to please me, anything to please Berlusconi, because he doesn't want to upset him, because he's done so much for him, or whatever the case may be. And Mihajlovic doesn't feel that way, obviously. So I do think this is more so a personal battle between Mihajlovic and Berlusconi, because Mihajlovic doesn't like taking whatever Berlusconi's crap that he gives him, which is completely right to do, because I don't think that the owner of a club should be telling the coach how to coach. He can give advice, but the fact that he forces it onto coaches, and if you don't do it, he sacks you, that's absolutely ridiculous. And AC Milan is more so like a dictatorship than anything else that I've ever seen. Realistically, if you look at it, as people have made the Palermo reference already, if Milan were Palermo in their situation, in their shoes, with their club stature, with their history, with their amount of budget, and Berlusconi was doing the things that he's been doing, people would say he's insane, he's crazy, he's the worst owner ever, just like they're saying with Palermo's owner. So, if you ask me, I think there's no excuse for Berlusconi to be making these moves. You can like Mihajlovic, you can dislike Mihajlovic, but with 6 games left, and you're bringing in Brocchi, a Primavera coach, expecting that he's going to play the youth, just like we thought Inzaghi would do, is just absolutely ludicrous, and I have no idea what kind of logic goes through Milan's head. And usually, I'm more so optimistic, as a lot of people know. But when it comes to AC Milan and sacking their coaches, as we've seen for about 3-4 seasons straight now, it's absolutely ridiculous, and I don't think they should be making these moves. And I think all it's going to do is upset the squad. And obviously, another point to make, as you've been mentioning, with the players being so crap this season and last season and the season before that and before that and before that, and the list goes on. I think it's kind of ridiculous how people can make the conclusion that spending money in one transfer window means you should be getting Europe because you're playing in the Serie A. That is no excuse. The rest of the Serie A teams have been playing fantastic, and there's no reason that spending 80 million on a few players where half of them were actually complete useless and trash shouldn't guarantee you Europe, especially with a new coach in his first season in. And, it's just absolutely ridiculous, because you can ask the same people who say that, how many players in the squad are shit, and they'll name probably 8 out of the 11, but continue to say we should be playing much better football because we spent money. If you ask me, that's complete bullshit. You can look at Leicester City. Money is not everything in football. Also, it has a big impact. It's a big factor to why Mihajlovic was sacked, because he was given all this money. But I don't think it's a big enough factor to say that he's made no progress. He's done no good. He hasn't made any renovations to this Milan squad, put in any fear into other teams. Because if you ask me, that's complete bullshit. And he's done 10 times the job that Inzaghi did, yet he didn't even get a full season.
You know what I think it is right now, Adamo? I think Milan has become a freaking recycling bin, Just putting things in and recycling over and over and over again, hoping that some masterpiece comes out of it. Have you ever thought of putting shit into the equation? What do you get as a result? Yes, that's right, shit. So what's the big deal with what Berlusconi just did? Honestly speaking, guys, this thing has been going on for too long, and the truth is Berlusconi and Galliani can't run a team anymore. You know what? I think they should downgrade to another team and see if they can run that team first, because I'm telling you, at this point in time, they probably can't even run a Serie C team. I'm telling you now, let alone a team like Milan with such a high prestige in history. Let alone that. I think these guys can't even freaking manage a Serie C team at the moment. It's ridiculous. But let's read some more comments, guys. We're going to stay on for another 10 minutes or so. So get in your comments. There's actually some comments coming in from Twitter as well. Coming in from Michael here. He says, do you think Mihajlovic was sacked due to Di Francesco having to make a decision soon? Maybe he's coming in next season. That is something that I've honestly been thinking about. Obviously speaking, Di Francesco is a name that has been circulating for a long time. And, once again, I don't see Brocchi staying at Milan for long. Seedorf wasn't experienced. Inzaghi wasn't experienced. Brocchi isn't experienced. Why should Brocchi actually have the opportunity over those guys to manage Milan more and get some results out of it? Why is he going to have that type of partnership with the players so quickly on top of it? Just jumping in when 80% of the season is done already? I just don't see it. Seriously speaking, I just don't see it as a long-term solution or a long-term commitment from Brocchi. Once again, if I was getting the call from Berlusconi and Galliani, knowing that I had the opportunity to coach at Milan, I would probably take it, considering the fact that you'll probably get fired in a few months but still get paid millions, just like we saw Inzaghi, Allegri, and Seedorf do. So, hey, why not? Get the job, work a few months, get fired, but you're still getting paid while you're at home sitting on your ass. So at that point, I would probably accept a job. But on the other hand, why would I want to be humiliated like that in front of so many people, knowing that I put in so much work for the team? Sure, I didn't get all the results that you wanted, but do you really think I was going to get Milan in the top 3 in one night? Obviously not. Even though you get the players, you're not going to just change like that in 2 seconds. So I honestly don't get it. Let's keep reading some comments here. Let's keep going. Lots of comments, guys, so bear with me. This guy Rosso on Twitter says, I'm surprised Mihajlovic hasn't destroyed his company car already. People ask. Not now and not like this. Fuck the fans for still backing a club that has lost its honor and dignity. I think the fans are actually a strong force, because if we're still putting up with this shit over and over again, it means that we are strong and that we will keep on fighting until something good is gonna happen with this team. And it's been 5 years, guys. 5 fucking years of destruction for this Milan team. Yet we're still making videos on a daily basis for the love of the team. And we're not here for Berlusconi. We're not here for Galliani. We're not here for Mihajlovic. We're here for the fans to have a word on Milan, to discuss our issues together, because all the fans are all in this together. And it's bad, but I think that as a family we could honestly ease the pain a bit. Looking at some more comments on YouTube. If Brocky gets sacked in the summer, who do you think we will get? Well, I just mentioned about Di Francesco, so good opportunity there if he leaves, if Brocky gets fired. David says the players we have let go from our youth system have been a disgrace. I agree. Lots of players going elsewhere, just letting them go as free paper, really. Space Monkey says, any source of official statement for sacking Mihajlovic? The official statement will be out tomorrow. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, it's late in Italy. It's past midnight. So the official statement will not be coming in right away right now. And this will happen tomorrow, as reported by Sky, a very reliable source. Once again, Nazmi going, the building process with Brocky will start all over again. And yes, I agree. Over and over again. This thing won't change. It won't change until the right players come in, unfortunately. And Brocky coming in, once again, to me, it's no change. No change at all. Just a continuation of a big circus and a big comedy. You know, it's like watching a freaking TV series. You got season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and you just keep repeating seasons and seasons over and over again with some new content, but with the same bullshit. You know what? So that's pretty much what I'm looking at right now in terms of Milan. Some more words on this, Adamo? Some more final thoughts about the whole situation?
Overall, obviously a point we have to make is that, Milan are in the situation where we're letting go of a coach that, obviously a lot of us don't think we should be. And there's obviously those fans out there who rightly so believe that, the fact that we're, putting all the blame solely on Milan and not on Mihajlovic is ludicrous. I can completely understand where those people are coming from. Obviously this wasn't the greatest season we've ever had. We did spend money, which means we should have done better than we did. People saying that we should, we let go in the last 30 minutes of the game, last 30, 40 minutes, the way Milan play mentally, all those things are down to Mihajlovic, and they definitely are. But if you ask me, I think that the more ridiculous thing that's kind of going on here is I'm completely fine with sacking Mihajlovic. Well, not completely fine. I kind of liked him a little bit because he has made some progress, obviously in comparison to Inzaghi, of course. But, when you look at Mihajlovic and what he's done, I do think that you got to at least give him the rest of the season. I mean, what are you bringing in Brocchi for? It's not like you're bringing in Carlo Ancelotti and you're giving him a head start for the next season where he's going to, take on all these teams and kind of prepare his squad. He's going to get a bit of a head start that a new coach wouldn't have originally had. And now that's what you're getting by sacking Mihajlovic. But we're sacking Mihajlovic for a useless coach that's going to do absolutely nothing but exactly what Mihajlovic would have done or worse. So I genuinely don't see, and the main problem with me is that we're sacking him at this time. I would be fine with sacking him, as I said, later on, or if it were to be with a, different coach. But the fact that it's Brocchi changes the whole scenario. And I think, for example, if we're hiring Antonio Conte, Carlo Ancelotti, as I mentioned, instead of Brocchi, I don't think fans would have been freaking out the way they have. I think this is mainly down to the fact that Brocchi is expected to do this miraculously turnaround and, get Milan into the top 5 and win the Coppa Italia, all because he did well at the Primavera, and now he's going to bring up this youth like we saw, or like we thought we'd see with Inzaghi. So if you ask me, I completely understand where people are coming from in the sense that Mihajlovic is at fault. He's definitely at fault, but I think the biggest issue here is the fact that Milan are handling this situation like 2-year-old children and not like businessmen, which is the way that they should be. And if you want to watch some entertaining shows, you got Netflix. You can go see the opera. Downtown New York. You can do what you want. Forget about it. Just turn on Milan on your weekend. Watch them play. Look at the news. Watch Sky. Watch Rai. Look at all that news, all the reports, and find all the ludicrous, bogus things that they're doing. You'll be far more entertained than you would be than any of those things. So Netflix and chill. I don't think so. AC Milan is the way to go.
Well said. Well said. Guys, leave your last second comments because we will be signing off very, very soon. Once again, for those that still don't know, Mihajlovic will be officially sacked with the statement tomorrow. I'm expecting tomorrow morning or early afternoon in Italy. But everything has been reported pretty officially by some very reliable sources, such as Sky Sports in Italy. So it seems like everything will be set and done for Mihajlovic, and Brocchi will be taking over starting tomorrow in the training session, and he will be given the chance until June to prove himself. That is what we know so far in terms of reports. We don't know if there's going to be another coach afterwards. I guess it all depends on results. But what I think it is once again, Berlusconi finding a coach that's going to be a yes man. Because Mihajlovic certainly wasn't a yes man. He wanted things done his way. And we knew that. We knew that before he came in. And now I don't remember exactly how long this contract was once he signed it, if it was 2 or 3 years. But guess what? This is going to be another coach in which you're going to have to pay. Just imagine paying Inzaghi, Seedorf, Mihajlovic with the money they're paying these guys. We could have literally got, I don't know who, like another player for sure, a pretty decent player. It's just sad. A very sad moment for all Milan fans. And guess what, guys? Another season thrown away. Out of the window. Sometimes I ask myself, what are we doing here? What are we doing on this world with Berlusconi throwing shit to our face on a daily basis? You wake up, you're supposed to wake up to the sun, a nice, beautiful view. But what do you wake up to? You wake up to Berlusconi throwing shit in your face. That's what you wake up to. It's ridiculous, guys. Honestly, I can't take it anymore.
No scenarios. Sometimes you got to wear the shades. Sometimes they can block out the rays, but for the majority of the time, when you're a Milan fan, these glasses are mainly for blocking out the bullshit that Berlusconi has to spew. And you just got to move on. You just got to move on with your life. See that the grass is greener on the other side, and just go to bed sleeping like a baby.
Yep. All right, guys. Gonna read some last second comments from you, and we will sign off. Let's start off with Paul Shortino saying Milan fans are very hurt by this. Mihajlovic actually did a fantastic job in putting a structure to the team, giving chance to youth players, and getting a respectable position at the table for his first season. These are very hard times for such a highly reputable team. Philip says we shouldn't have sacked Mihajlovic unless we could replace him with a world-class manager like Ancelotti or Conte. Nazmi says, I feel like so long we have Berlusconi and Galliani, Europa League will be our most realistic achievement. And Space Fox says Messi to Milan, definitely not. All right, guys, on that note, we will sign off. Thank you all for joining us today on the live stream with these breaking news. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed our discussion, and thank you guys for commenting. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything related to AC Milan for breaking news, daily news, previews, reviews, and all going forward for Milan. Once again, this has been Gio and Adamo signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.